So, those of you that don't know me, I am Justin Naultz. I am the founder of Ketosis. I invented a line of nutritional powders called the Perfect Paleo Powder. So I invented those back in 2014. So pretty cool stuff. I am also a certified nutritional therapist. I am a certified specialist in sports nutrition. I change people's lives for the better, usually through dramatic transformations, which is pretty cool. So there are different levels of ketosis. So if we say the way that you test, here's the most accurate thing, right? So you have urine, you have breath, and you have blood, right? So what we can do is remove these because they are not accurate, right? Blood. This is really the only way that you can accurately tell if you are in nutritional ketosis, right? And this is, blood is measured in millimolars. So it's something called millimolars per liter. That's the way that you'll see it written down. Millimolars per liter is the amount of ketones in your bloodstream, and you do that from testing the blood the same way a diabetic would measure their blood glucose levels, and you need a particular strip to do it. These ketone strips used to be $5 a test. Now they're down to about $1 a strip from places called like Keto Mojo or whatever, for anyone who is monitoring for whatever reason. So I want to explain to you is there are different levels of ketosis, right? So if you're doing something like we're doing with Ketosis, then we're probably looking at, I'll just write out a few for you, like 0.5 to say 0.8 millimolars per liter is probably considered light ketosis. Then you have like 0.9 to maybe 1.4, which is probably medium. Okay, so we'll call that medium ketosis. Then you have 1.5 all the way up to 3 millimolars per liter. This is considered deep ketosis, okay? Now, deep ketosis is, of course, where the fastest, the most rapid rate of fat burning is going to happen. You're going to be burning the most stored body fat, yes. So people make that their goal. But again, that's short-term goals. Like, I want to be in deep ketosis for 30 days so I can lose 30 pounds in 30 days, blah, 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 right? And they don't take into considerations like this, the reason, so some of the things that Jillian Michaels says about keto, right? She starts screaming about hormones and blah, 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 right? If you're a woman, being in deep nutritional ketosis all the time is a real bad idea. It is actually a bad idea for your hormones. But again, details matter. I say this all the time, you guys. Details matter. So Jillian Michaels can get on Steve Harvey and say, women, you're going to disrupt your hormones if you're in ketosis. Yeah, she's talking about deep ketosis. And then you have down here, like for like the Charlie Foundation, epileptic kids, my niece who was having 300 seizures a day, you're talking 3.0 all the way up to 6.0. That's therapeutic. So let's just call this, let's just say therapy here, right? 6 plus, you run the risk of something called ketoacidosis. This is extremely difficult to happen. Like 6.0 and up, like that's ketoacidosis where like you can actually die. And ketoacidosis really only happens in diabetics where this is an insulin problem. Their pancreas, their body is not secreting enough insulin to clear the bloodstream of anything. They can't clear glucose, they can't clear ketones. There's just this ridiculous energy surplus. That's ketoacidosis. I'm probably gonna erase that so you don't freak out because that's very, very rare. But this is why people like Jillian Michaels can say, keto can kill you, and you're like, yeah, maybe in certain type 2 diabetics who have ridiculous problems with their pancreas already ahead of time, they weren't healthy enough to do this to begin with, right? So this is the thing. This is why details matter. So let's get rid of ketoacidosis. We'll keep the one all the way up to therapeutic levels. Because sometimes I'll use therapeutic levels. If a type 2 diabetic comes to me and they want to get off insulin and they have a healthy pancreas, then okay, we'll talk about doing this therapeutically to get you off of insulin injections. We can do that. Now, this is what I aim for. Right here, okay? That's a star. That's my sweet spot. This right here, boom, up here, we'll call this Ketosis. This is what I'm doing for you guys. Now, this is why I don't consider the Ketosis approach a ketogenic diet, right? Because if you do a ketogenic diet, let's say I have you guys on like a 60-30-10 split, right? So we have 60, 30, 10. This is your total calories, right? And we're talking fat, protein, carbohydrates, right? That whole thing where I got all mad at people because they said, this is a high protein diet. And I said, well, what exactly do you consider high protein? Because my definition is different than yours, right? 60-30-10, this can pretty reasonably get you into these states of light and medium ketosis, depending, right? So if you're eating on the Clovis approved foods list and you're hitting your macros, and then you sleep for 8 hours, have like an 8-hour fast, yeah, you might wake up in medium, right? You could maybe even wake up in deep. Oh boy, wait a second, we're in ketosis, right? Yeah, maybe. Now, if you make your goal deep ketosis all the time, it's very difficult because this fat number starts creeping up, right? You're looking at 75% fat, all the way up to 90% fat. Some people are doing 90% of their calories from dietary fat to make sure they stay in therapeutic levels of ketosis. Oh, and by the way, those of you that think the net carb number is difficult to stay under, which some of you do, now you're talking about this. Boom. Less than 5% of your daily calories. Less than 5% of your daily calories are net carbohydrates. It gets much more difficult. Then, by the way, we add to it. Now you gotta take this number and stay at around 20%, maybe less. So now you're cutting down your protein significantly. Like these numbers here, this protein and these carbs number, that's where Jillian Michael and her bullshit comes in and says that this can cause problems for women, right? And she's not entirely wrong. That's why she's able to get away with it. But she's talking about chronically, I mean, you'd have to do this for months and months and months, staying in deep ketosis or therapeutic levels of ketosis before you start having problems as women. My situation, my Clovis protocol, where I give you an allotted 10% daily calories for net carbohydrates, is not going to cause these same problems. This is much more manageable, and you're staying in a reasonable state of fat burning all the time. See what I'm saying? So those of you that don't know much about ketosis, this is what we're talking about. This is ketosis. So I hope this makes sense for you guys. So the other thing to remember is what a lot of women do is when I say that the net carbohydrate, I say fat and protein is a goal, and then I say that net carbohydrates is a limit, right? So what do a lot of people in the academy do? And any of you in the academy who see these posts of people who share their carb manager screenshots, you know what they're doing, right? So I tell them this, 60-30-10. So they hit their protein, they hit their fat, and I say, oh, net carbs is a limit. You want to either hit that or stay under it. So they go, okay, let's say their limit is 30 grams. They're like, hell yeah, I'm gonna eat 5 grams of carbs every single day. I'm gonna stay under that net limit. They think that this is increasing fat burning. And the issue is, what they're not doing is, let's say you cut out 200 calories of carbs, you need to replace that somewhere because I'm giving you a daily caloric intake that you need for optimal functioning. Okay? You need this. So if you have this deficit somewhere, then you need to have a positive somewhere else. And that probably needs to come from fat because I don't want you going much more over 30% of protein, right? So now you need to add in the fat. So you need to take whatever your number is for fat, and now you need to add more fat on top of that. You need to crush it. You see what I'm saying? Because you now have an energy issue. Right? You're not giving your body what it needs. It needs fat or carbohydrates for energy, so it has to get it from somewhere. So now this whole details matter. The intricacies get much, much crazier, right? I've done all of this for you. I've done all of this guesswork for you. That's what your custom plan is. You need to trust it. You need to have patience, okay? Because I don't want you in deep ketosis, therapeutic ketosis levels all the time, especially since 98% of you are women and you can have issues, okay? So like I said, don't chase ketones, chase results. Let me take a look.